Just 25 years ago, C.W. Nash resigned the presidency of the greatest automobile company of the day and gathered a little group of engineers about him at Kenosha, Wisconsin. Their job was to build the kind of car which had to be built. A rugged car to meet the challenge of the rutted, potholed paths which served as roads in those days. A powerful car to meet the challenge of the clinging mud and roller coaster grades of those old-time roads. A dependable car to end the time-worn get-out and get-under smart cracks. Well, after a year's development, the first Nash car made its appearance. It was a rugged, get-there-and-back kind of car, with the intestinal fortitude of a pack horse and the pulling power of a tractor. It had a 6-cylinder valve-and-head engine, a power plant which won the heart of every motorist who had heard other engines falter on the hard pulls or give up halfway through an adventurous trip to the next town. Since that day, there has always been a Nash valve-and-head 6. Improvement after improvement has been added, but always the primary objectives of C.W. Nash have been in the foreground. For every one of these fine cars was a big, rugged, powerful automobile, built to grow old slowly, with price a secondary consideration. Now, as these cars were winning their place in the hearts of the motoring public, the 25th anniversary of the Nash valve-and-head 6 was approaching. Obviously, that occasion could best be marked by an anniversary 6, which, like the first Nash, would set a new standard of motor car value. And equally obvious was the direction the 1941 engineering advance should take. In 1941, America is a nation on wheels, made so by the success of the automotive industry in putting reliable, comfortable transportation within the means of an ever-increasing number of Americans. And the greatest service Nash could perform, and the most noteworthy marking of its anniversary year, would be the building of a 1941 Anniversary 6, which would retain the comfort, ruggedness, and performance of its distinguished predecessors, but at the same time, put those qualities within the reach of more people than had ever enjoyed them before, through a price reduction which would offer the finest of all Ambassador 6s at a new low price. Of course, this was a job of staggering proportions. In a year when car prices were trending upward, they had to build a car which would actually sell for less. This is not the time to tell how Nash engineers went to the builders of modern airliners and streamlined trains and studied their methods of building lightweight strength into airplanes and trains. For that matter, there's another interesting story in the long months of research, during which the engineers sought to apply the lessons of the skyways and the rails to the building of a truly modern motor car. Then came a rebuilding of Nash's production facilities, for new designs required new production methods and new machinery, more efficient machinery, to cut production costs as deeply as they must be cut. $7 million was invested to make new cars for the new year. The engineers knew that the Nash organization, from C.W. Nash, chairman of the board, to the last retail salesman, would reject any cheapening of the fine automobile upon which the whole organization had been built, the car which was the particular pride of every Nash man. However, this planning and research is history now, for the 1941 Ambassador 6, the Anniversary 6, is the finest 6 Nash has ever produced, the greatest value in the 25-year history of Nash, and, in our considered opinion, the finest 6 on the highways of this nation. Here's a car so ably conceived, so sturdily built, so dependable and economical in operation that Nash feels proud to recommend it to that most critical and demanding of drivers, the American doctor. In fact, Nash would like to see every one of this country's 150,000 medical men behind the wheel of an Ambassador 6, for we know they'd find satisfaction and a value that is unmatched. Value? Consider these facts. Last year, the Nash Ambassador 6 sold in the same price class as the Buick 40, the Packard 110, the Pontiac 8, and the Chrysler Royal. But today, a finer Ambassador 6 is offered in the lower medium price class, the class which up to now has been restricted to such cars as the Dodge, Oldsmobile 60, and the Pontiac 6. But to gauge the full measure of this achievement, let's weigh this Ambassador 6 against the standards of beauty, safety, comfort, performance, and economy
which mean value in any price class. This Ambassador 6 is a big car with a full 121 inches of wheelbase and a sweep of 2¾ inches bumper to bumper. Yet your eye seems to add still more inches to this big car, for its clean, sleek body lines are long and horizontal. The belt roll is continuous for almost the full length of the car, with a continuous highlight on it. Fender lines are longer, with almost horizontal highlights. Your eye sweeps along these flowing lines and reports a car which looks even bigger than it is. By the way, the Permalux enamel used on the Ambassador 6 actually grows brighter with washing and the passage of time, and complete bonderizing under the paint keeps rust from getting a hold and spreading. As for front-end treatment, well, every one of us can agree on 2 points. First, this is truly modern styling, dynamic, proclaiming in steel the power and luxury that's built into this car. And second, when one of these sleek Ambassador 6s is parked in front of your home, everybody will recognize it as a fine automobile, as a distinctive automobile. It will require no second glance to distinguish your Nash from any one of half a dozen other makes. The long horizontal air intake of the Ambassador 6 is more than ornamental. It was modeled after the cooling device built into Sir Malcolm Camel's racing car, which set a 292-mile-an-hour speed record. It therefore means efficient cooling. And that low, wide grille combines with the massive bumper to make the 6 look even lower than it is. Incidentally, here is a car so new, so modernly styled, that its resale value in tomorrow's markets is sure to be exceptionally favorable. As for body styles, if you prefer the popular lines of the torpedo-type styling, here's the car for you, the Ambassador 6 Torpedo Sedan. There's an unusually big trunk on this torpedo model, a lighted trunk, by the way, and the amount of luggage which can be stowed away in it is almost unbelievable. However, this fastback model retains the roomy lines of the torpedo, giving equal interior space, while the rear lines sweep down over a large concealed luggage compartment. In either sedan model, the famous Nash bed in a car is available, refined and improved for 1941, so that it's even easier and faster to set up, even more comfortable. Now, this popular new body style is called the Coupe Brougham and seats 6 in a close-coupled manner. Without the rear seat, it's known as the business coupe. And then, for you wanderers with the wind, here's a new convertible coupe with such features as full-width rear seat and finger-touch automatic top control. The complete line, then, consists of the business coupe, Coupe Brougham, fastback sedan, torpedo sedan, and convertible coupe. In all 5 body models, the trim exterior lines are unbroken by a protruding running board. However, when one of those extra wide rear doors is opened, there's a man-sized running board, level with the car floor. The outsweep of the door conceals it until the door is opened and the running board is needed. But every one of these points can be seen and appreciated at a glance. That first glance which identifies your Nash as a distinctive car, a car of fresh, uncopied beauty.
But now let's turn for a moment to a feature that's hidden deep within the trim steel walls of this car. The unitized principle, which allows the Nash Ambassador 600 to bring to the lowest priced field new standards of safety and comfort. The unitized body consists of heavy structural members built right into the body itself, around the door frames, overhead and underneath. A heavy floor panel and a seamless steel roof add considerably to the stiffness of this body. To this structure, as used in the 600, is tied in the Ambassador 6 subframe, a complete set of cross members and side rails which run the entire length of the car. The combination of these 2 frames in a car the weight and wheelbase of the Ambassador 6 gives a dual frame construction unduplicated in any other motor car design. That means that your family rides protected by the strongest body and frame combination ever built into that notably rugged car, the Nash Ambassador 6. There's a dual frame beneath them with a self-bracing, rigid network of steel around and above them. Nor is this the only safety advance scored by this modern type of bodybuilding. The oversized windshield, an inch wider and 2.5 inches deeper, 3 big side windows, and curved rear window combine to give you a wider field of vision in all directions. A sweeping command of road conditions, as vital for safety as the wide field of vision provided the helmsman of a steamship in his glassed-in pilot house. There's sure-footed driving safety in Nash's aero-straight steering, the dual steering system which reduces wheel fight and transmits fewer road shocks to the wheel. And then, when you have to stop suddenly, there's straight-line stopping safety in the toe-tip response of the oversized Nash brakes. 176 square inches of brake lining that keep on stopping you long after other brakes have been relined. In brief, the Ambassador 6 is a safe car with all that this implies.